Is Kyle Shanahan a great coach or a good coach?
I love this topic, and it came up on my Twitter. My attitude is there's a difference between a good coach and a great coach. Mm-hmm. Kyle is clearly a good coach. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't argue with that. I think you need to win a Super Bowl to be considered a great coach.
Greatness is something you achieve. You can't. It's not a projection.
You don't have greatness thrust upon you.
You can't be born into greatness. You got to achieve it. 12th night.
I'm going to tell you, 12th night.
12th night.
You passed the test.
Sorry.
12th night is one of my favorite Shakespeare plays. You can't have greatness thrust upon you.
It's so funny. They teach it to you 9th grade, and you get it.
It's wonderful. Yeah, it's a wonderful play. Mm-hmm. Okay. So right now he's a good coach.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
If he wins a Super Bowl, he goes to the elite status and maybe is a great coach, but he hasn't done it yet.
Right.
So, Iggy, one guy on Twitter, I'm putting a cough drop in my mouth, said Kyle is among the top 3 coaches in the NFL. Do you agree with that, Iggy?
Right now?
Right now.
No. Top 3? No.
Name the top 3.
Andy Reid, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll.
Yeah. And that's my group.
Those are guys who have been around forever and had a lot of sustained success.
So he's not top 3, and even if he wins a Super Bowl, he doesn't crack that top 3.
There's a lot of coaches in the league with one Super Bowl victory. John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin, freaking Mike McCarthy. Although Kyle's better than Mike McCarthy right now. I'll say that.
I agree.
He's also better than Sean McVay.
Oh.
Way better than Sean McVay.
Iggy, I'm not sure he's better than John Harbaugh.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know. It's a question. Yeah. And listen, I'm not sure he's better than the guy in Buffalo.
That's what I was going to say. It seems like they're neck and neck. Each one has been head coach about the same amount of time, and each one is on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl. Let's see which one gets it done.
Right. So what I would say is if Kyle wins a Super Bowl, he's clearly one of the top 5 coaches. I'd say clearly.
Yeah.
If not, he's maybe on the threshold but not in. Would you agree with that?
He could be Marv Levy. I still think it's silly that Marv Levy's in the Hall of Fame. For what? For losing the Super Bowl for a bunch of years in a row? That's not an accomplishment. That's not an accomplishment. So he'd have to win a Super Bowl. Otherwise, he'd be in the Marv Levy class of great coaches who never won a Super Bowl. But it's trending like he's going to win one. Although we don't really know what he's going to do with the playoffs. We'll see. It's a whole different thing.
It's trending like Kyle's going to win one?
Eventually. He's young. He's got a hell of a team. He's got a quarterback who's young, who's working with him. It's looking like maybe he could do this. Maybe this is a good year, too. I mean, it's wide open in the NFC.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
This would be the year for him to do it. Even though he has a rookie quarterback, actually he has the best quarterback he's had. Mm-hmm. So the issue is not can he do it, will he do it?
Will he do it?
He
can.
He can.
Yeah.
And if he does it, I put him in the top 5. Maybe I put him number 4.
Maybe.
But he has to do it first. And there is no such thing as he's going to do it. He either does it or he doesn't. And he has a history of not doing it.
It's true.
Again, I think of it in terms of literature. He has a tragic flaw. He's Hamlet. Yeah. He has a tragic flaw. He's been there and he's not achieved it. He has to prove that he can overcome himself.
And frankly, he hasn't done anything this year in the regular season that he hasn't done already. Everything he has to prove is in the playoffs, and he knows it.
Yes. In other words, not only is the story not written, the story hasn't even begun.
It hasn't. He had a nice 10-game winning streak in the playoffs. Congratulations. In the regular season, congratulations. What'd you do in the playoffs? Because, I mean, he had a year in Atlanta where he had like one of the greatest offenses of all time. He had a year here where he had one of the greatest run games in the league. Who cares? Did you win the Super Bowl? No? Well, get him this year.
Yeah, and this is his opportunity. And he should be up for it, and he should do it, but he has to do it. And again, I'm not putting him down. I'm saying he's a good coach. You're asking, is he a great coach? It is still to be determined, and it'll be determined in the next month or so.
All the heroes in history seized their moment.
Yeah.
Kyle hasn't done that yet. Right? Kyle hasn't done that yet.
Winston Churchill seized his moment.
He did.
When all hell was breaking loose in England, and he wouldn't give in. He seized his moment. He's the greatest statesman of the 20th century.
Joe Louis seized his moment when the whole Western world was like, please beat this German in this boxing match.
Who had knocked you out.
And he did. So,
in the first
Kyle,
round, you
got all the potential in the world, but seize your moment. This is your moment.
You got to seize your moment, and you should be grateful you have this moment to seize. You shouldn't be saying, "Oh my God, this is hard." No, it should be, "I'm going to kick ass." Pete Carroll would think that.
Yeah. Don't let Geno Smith and Pete Carroll seize the moment from you.
No.
Don't let it happen.
And
it's not their moment.
Don't let Minnesota, don't let Philly, don't let Dallas. You're better. I think the Niners are the best team in the NFC. Honestly, Iggy, the only two teams I think that can really, really challenge them are Buffalo and Kansas City.
I agree. My only concern with the Niners now is on their defense, but really that just might have been that they were pacing themselves after they clinched the division. I mean, they could come out and have a dominant defense once again and be like, oh, okay, they were just pacing themselves. I don't know.
I think they're capable of having, get this, dominant defense, dominant offense.
Yeah, they could actually win a Super Bowl by a lot. That could be what they could win a Super Bowl 38-14, something like that.
Right.
I mean, that's what every game has been like the last month and a half. 37-13. That's usually what the final score.
They're a very impressive team, and I'm almost putting the pressure on Kyle and saying, dude, you should get to the Super Bowl, and you should really win it.
Yeah, people are saying Kyle should be the coach of the year. Maybe, but I do feel like he has maybe the best roster in the league, and he lost some games he shouldn't have lost. Maybe executive of the year for John Lynch for putting together this roster. But I'd like to see Kyle seal that. You have the best team, man. Can you win the Super Bowl with the best team? You should do it.
Is coach of the year based only on the regular season?
Yes.
Philly had a better record.
True.
See what I'm saying?
Beat the Niners head to head. Like, how could you give it to Kyle over Andy Reid?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm now that's meaningless. Coach of the year. Right. Does he win the Super Bowl? But there are certainly contenders. Look, if you want to look at it, you could even think of Pete Carroll as coach of the year.
Right. I think people in Seattle think he should be the hands-down coach of the year. They were supposed to be the worst team in the league. And
Yeah. He did a great job. With
and
much
you say Kyle did a great job with Brock Purdy. Pete did a great job with Geno Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a very complicated argument.